Mike, I love Todd Snyder, and he doesn't really need my help with too much of anything, I don't think. But if he wants to learn how to play some tapping Eddie Van Halen licks, I know like 2 or 3 of them that I'll be happy to show him. Yeah, I think Todd, he's already way better at everything than anybody should ever get to be. Carlton, I did have a good time recently playing a song with Wilco. I like Wilco a lot. Another band I would like to perform with at some point is Calexico. I really love Calexico, and I used to play the trumpet in high school and college, and I would like to be part of their mariachi ensemble. But it would take me a long time to get my chops back, as they say in the horn playing world. Jim, we do listen to vinyl at the house, and I've got a few records that I listen to a lot that I'm real proud of. I'm not a vinyl collector, so most of the ones I have are for listening. But my wife has a Bob Wills record that is very, very hard to find and worth a whole lot of money. It's one of those where you kind of like break glass in case of emergency. If we run out of diapers and have to sell the Bob Wills record, we'll do it. But mine are all listeners, you know, and I still go back to, probably my favorite thing to listen to on vinyl is Led Zeppelin records, like 3 and 4. It's probably my favorites. Darren, I think James Bond would do a better job of saving the world. If you mean saving the world from like an evil villain. But if you mean saving the world from misogyny, I would think Jason Bourne would be your guy, because it seems like Bond doesn't quite have the same level of respect for women that a Matt Damon character would have. Buzz Will, how many guitars? Let me see here. I think I have probably about 10 here at the Ryman with me this weekend. Current favorite, I just recently bought an old 61 ES335 Gibson from Dave Cobb, and Dave did not want to sell me this guitar, but I pressured him into selling me the guitar, and that's my current favorite. It's a beautiful instrument, but as soon as I bought it from Dave, he went and took the money and bought one just like it. That's how I know he was not happy about selling the guitar at all. Brent, you know, my dad, he's still got a lot of advice left in him. He'll probably give her all that advice himself. At this point, you know, I really, I think she's just going to have things so much easier than I had it, that I don't think she's going to need a lot of advice unless it's just reactionary. I think my best advice to my daughter would be, don't ever date anyone, ever, under any circumstances. Right now that's terrifying to me, and it probably will be for the next 20 years. Sway, that's a very difficult question, because melodies are mysterious things. Sometimes the phrase will dictate the melody, you know, the way the words sort of roll out of your mouth, the language itself will sort of create its own melody. But I think starting as a guitar player first and then writing songs a few years after I'd already started playing the guitar really helps me a lot, because constructing a melody is basically an exercise in wit, and you know, thinking of a joke quickly is kind of the same thing as playing a guitar solo if you're improvising it, or a solo on any other instrument. So melody constructed for the purpose of writing a song is really just taking that wit or that initial idea and then refining it into a way that creates the most tension and release that you possibly can. But very often that's dictated by lyrics. You know, some things they want to be long, and they want to be anthemic, you know, but then some words are just meant to be spoken and not sung. It's a strange thing, but I think the more experience you have with a musical instrument, the better you'll be at coming up with melodies. Myra, if I wasn't a performer, I would probably still be working in the fireworks factory in Florence, Alabama, where I worked for a summer to pay my dad back for bailing me out of jail, until I accidentally brought a lit cigarette into the fireworks factory unknowingly and unwittingly one day, and didn't blow everybody up, but it wasn't too well received. Juanita, my wife and I had the name Mercy before we had the baby in any form. We had the name for a couple of years now, I think. It seemed like one that had a good meaning to it, and also it's really hard to mispronounce or misspell, which is very important to both of us. Jamie from Twitter. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell this story or not, but my wife Amanda, she is all right with flights unless they go over a large body of water. So I guess that's a very simple answer, but that is where I got the inspiration for that. A lot of songs I write on an airplane because there's not really anything else to do, and I'd rather be writing a song than having to have a conversation with a stranger next to me. Mark, that's a hard question because there's so many of them, but I'll go with the personal influences, really. The Muscle Shoals guys, David Hood and Spooner Oldham and Donnie Fritz. Barry Billings, who's a guitar player from down there who I spent so much time with growing up. He taught me. I remember one particular night we were playing together in a bar, and I was about 15, and at one point Barry hadn't known me very long, and he turned to me and said, "Now when somebody's singing, you might not want to keep playing a guitar solo, and you might want to stop until they're done singing, and then later on in the song you can play another guitar solo." And that meant a lot to me. Nobody had said that at that point. I pretty much had like a switch that was either go or stop, and I learned that really you have to stop soloing at some point. So that served me really well.